Hello. My learning environment, just as a reminder, is in experiential education, mostly with college-age students, and mostly in an outdoors setting. So a couple of things kind of connected for me with some of the readings this week. In the Brainwork book, the section about emotional response to information really resonated with me. It talked about how strongly an emotional response can impact our decisions and how it kind of filters important information for us. And it's not just the gut reaction, the fight or flight response that it's talking about. It's also the excitement we get when we're really engaged in an activity. It's like when you're talking to somebody, it's really obvious when they're excited to tell you about one of their favorite projects, or when somebody's just like engrossed in learning something new. So I think it's important to feed that excitement in students and help them find opportunities to follow those paths. So when students, when what they're learning kind of fits into their context of life, that they can see why it's important. When they understand why they're learning it, then they'll really grip it and engage it. There's a great quote I heard: "If you know the why, then you can live anyhow." So that's, if you know the why, then you can live anyhow. So if students are able to fit what they're learning into something that's important in their lives, then it'll be much more engaging for them. And this idea also connected over to the Shift website on their blog. It talked about how in e-learning it needs to kind of spark an emotional response to grab people. But the other part of that article that really caught me was where it said self-directed learning is a hit with adults. And I don't think that's the case only with adults. When younger students get the chance to have self-directed learning, then they really flourish. When I'm leading trips or activities, there are inevitably students who got dragged along by a friend, or they were required to go, or somebody who just doesn't want to be there. So the challenge is to engage them in a way that brings in that emotional tie with the experience. So using the 4 C's as an example, this often means engaging students with creativity and critical thinking. So that can look like giving them a puzzle type of activity, kind of engaging because there's suddenly a challenge to solve. Students are grabbed by the competitive aspect of it, trying to solve it rather than losing to the game or something. So the emotional response to learning really stood out to me with these readings, and I think it can kind of be tapped into giving students opportunities to be self-directed, and I think that really stands out for students of any age.